Okay, so the reason that I'm recording this session is because, as you say, it's a special day. Okay, so I think many are still at kampong, or like they have some family gathering to go on. So I will just record for this class just today, and then for those that need to watch it, then they'll watch it later. But just for today. All right, is that all right? Is everyone cool? If yes, please give me a COOL, cool. All right. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Okay. So let me share the screen now. Oops. Okay. So in last class, we started bab 3. Okay. And as I said, in bab 3, we have 3A and 3B. Okay. And the 3A is Penyata Penyesuaian Bank. And we already did a few questions from this chapter. Okay. And then if everything goes smoothly, I project that we'll be starting the 3B, another part of this chapter in next class. So after next class, then we will enter into chapter 4. So you can see that we are moving quite fast. All right, so please, as I have said many times, don't miss any classes and make sure you are paying attention during my class, because sometimes I don't know, but I feel like my pace can go fast or slow depending on the topic. Okay, some topic will go quite fast. Like this topic, I think that I'm going quite fast. All right, because it's straightforward. But for some topic, I'll go slower. Like last chapter, chapter 2. Okay, you can see that I spent like 6 or 7 classes on that chapter. We've been doing a lot of questions together because it's chapter 2. But chapter 3 is more straightforward, like Penyata Penyesuaian Bank and also Belanjawan Tunai, which we'll be learning in next class. And that Belanjawan Tunai is also very straightforward, to the point that we can finish that subtopic in just one class. Okay, so please pay attention and do all the homework that I have given you. Okay, is everyone clear? If yes, give me a C in the chat box if you are clear. Okay, so let's start. So we stop at question 2. So last class we did question 1 and question 3. Okay, and for this question 1 and question 3, I somehow give you an idea of how a Qaeda 1 look like. Yeah, I told you in this Penyata Penyesuaian Bank, we have 3 different Qaeda. Okay, Qaeda 1 is you have to do a BT dikemas kini, meaning BT means buku tunai. All right, so you have to do a buku tunai dikemas kini. After that, you do a Penyata Penyesuaian Bank, like what we have done. And the first thing, you start from your baki di buku tunai. After that, you end with the baki dalam Penyata Bank. Okay, so this is Qaeda 1. All right, I believe everyone knows this one already. If yes, please give me a K1 in your chat box. K1 for Qaeda 1. If you know what I'm talking about, you know how's the format like for K1, please reply K1 in the chat box. Okay, very good. Okay, so that is Qaeda 1. Buku tunai dikemas gini, and then a Penyata Penyesuaian Bank. So now, before we enter into Qaeda 2, let's do this question 2. This question 2 is also for Qaeda 1, K1. Okay, because how do we know it's K1? Look at the question. We have to do a kemas kini buku tunai, okay, and then a Penyata Penyesuaian Bank. So it clearly tells us that this is a K1 because you have a buku tunai dikemas kini. Okay, but what this how is this different from the previous question that we have done is that the previous question, you're giving you are given a Penyata Bank and a buku tunai. It's like that. Okay, so you remember we have to cut this, cut that, and then circle, and then you do the asterisk, and then after that we throw it in. Okay, if you still remember. But now you can see that for this question 2, it's slightly different. How different it is? By looking at this, you can see that it's more on sentences, on words. But for the previous one, it's like numbers. And you see all numbers, but this one is like more of words. Okay, but how? Okay, very simple. Let's start. So, question 2, Emmeline, seorang peniaga tunggal menerima Penyata Bank bagi bulan Oktober 2009. Beliau mendapati baki AQ Penyata Bank berbeza dengan baki buku tunai seperti berikut. And then, so this is the baki that we are given. Okay, so you got the Penyata Bank and buku tunai. So you can see it's different. But that's why we have to do this thing, a Penyata Penyesuaian Bank. In English, you call it a bank reconciliation. So the objective of it is to match these two number. Okay, so now you can see it's different. So this 239 debit means negative 239. As I've said, whenever you see a debit in your Penyata Bank, it means minus. If it is credit, all right, then it is a positive figure. So you can see this is a minus 239, and then buku tunai is a positive normal 3451. Are you guys following? If yes, please give me an F in your chat box. Let's see if you guys are following. Okay, now after that, let's move on. Okay, so look at this thing here. So these are like your maklumat tambahan. Alright. Setelah Emmeline membandingkan Penyata Bank dengan buku tunai, perkara berikut ditemui. So you got A, B, C, D, E, F. Now, very simple thing to do now. Okay. And I love this kind of question because it's very straightforward, direct, and easy to do it. Okay. So now, look at this. Start from A. Let's start together. Arahan tetap untuk bayaran premium 747 belum direkodkan dalam buku tunai. Now, if you have a bayaran, so you have to pay for premium, okay? So premium can sometimes be insurance. Is a contoh. So they say bayaran premium is bayaran insurance. All right. So 747 belum direkod. So now, if you think, all right, now we have to record in buku tunai. So would it be in debit or in credit? What do you think? Bayaran. So now we have to pay. So if pay means we have to credit our buku tunai. All right, if we have to credit our buku tunai, it's something like a minus. Okay, so just put it that way. All right, so just put a minus beside your A. Or here, outside here, something like that. Just to let yourself know that this we are supposed to minus from the buku tunai. Are you guys clear? If yes, give me a C in the chat box again. Right? I just want to make sure that you guys catch what I'm trying to say here. And also the concept. Right? You don't have to memorize anything. You just have to understand. Okay? Understanding comes first. Then only later. Okay, then B. All right, so this one A, understand, yeah? So now we move on to B. Check 1,251 untuk sewa dan 385 kepada Ahmad belum dikemukakan kepada bank. So now you see this keyword, belum dikemukakan. Now that brings you back to what we learned from the Penyata Penyesuaian Bank. So if you still remember the format for Penyata Penyesuaian Bank for the Kaedah 1, so now by the way, we are doing Kaedah 1. So you remember that we start from the buku tunai, the baki in buku tunai. After that, what do we have to add? We have to add something called check belum dikemukakan. After that, we have to minus deposit belum dikreditkan. Then we get our baki, isn't it? Can you see the one that I highlighted with yellow color? All right. So you can see that check belum dikemukakan, and here is the same thing. Belum dikemukakan. So from here, this check belum dikemukakan, what are we supposed to do? We are supposed to add, isn't it? So add, you add it in. So here, we are supposed to add. Are you guys clear? You know what I'm saying? If yes, give me a B in the chat box for question B. So done for A, done for B. So it's just that straightforward. So you can see. All right. So let's move on. All right. Let you see more examples. Okay. So now we move on to C. Dividend 528 daripada wawasan berhad dan charge bank 61 ringgit belum direkodkan dalam buku tunai. So it's the same thing like just now, like your A, belum direkodkan. So now you see this dividend 528 from daripada wawasan, meaning we are the one that receive this 528 ringgit from wawasan. So that will bring you to plus for 528. Meaning our money comes in. When money comes in, we have to debit, because in means debit, we have to debit our buku tunai. Now, at the same time, there is a charge bank. So we know that when there is a charge bank, we have to pay to the bank. Just like, let's say you do an online transaction, but usually online transaction doesn't charge you. Okay, but maybe like you do an overseas transaction, for example. Okay, you want to transfer money to your relative or to your friend in the UK, okay, or in England. All right, so if it is an overseas transaction, you have to pay a certain fee. Now that bank will charge you. So now when the bank charge us money, we have to pay. We have to bayar. So when you bayar, the money keluar, right? The money goes out from you. So that will become a credit from your buku tunai. And that will be a minus 61. So you can see that the dividend comes in, we add, while we pay for the charge, then we have to minus out from the buku tunai. So one is debit, one is credit. Okay, for C, if yes, put a C in the chat box. Let me see. So you can see that all this is something like a debit credit. It's very simple. And then we're bringing this in to Form 5. But if you have been very good with your Form 4 basics, debit, credit entry, you know, ledger, then this is not a problem to you at all. Okay? So now let's move on to Donkey. So you can see that check 3,985 daripada syarikat Lily telah didepositkan pada 3rd of October 2009, tetapi belum can you see the word belum dikreditkan? And this same term or same phrase, belum dikreditkan, can be found in this thing, isn't it? In your Penyata Penyesuaian bank, deposit belum dikreditkan. So, and this deposit belum dikreditkan, we are supposed to minus. We are supposed to deduct it. So here, obviously, we have to minus. Okay with Donkey? If yes, put a D in the chat box. You're okay with Donkey. So it's just that simple. Right? Then move on to E. Check 832 yang diterima daripada Dean telah dipulangkan oleh bank. Now, dipulang oleh bank, petanda rujuk penjuru bayar tetapi belum direkodkan dalam buku. So when you see dipulangkan oleh bank, what is this? Doesn't it sound familiar? It is the CTL. Check tak laku. And if you remember what we done from last class and also the questions that we done in last class, whenever we see a check tak laku atau another phrase for it is dipulangkan oleh bank. What are we supposed to do? We are supposed to credit from buku tunai, as you can see here. So look at the screen. So this, you see charge bank, we credit. That's why we minus charge bank. And then you see this CTL, Som and Sam. If you can recall what we done in last class, this is the check tak laku, and is also in the credit side. And if you see the IZAM, I bracketed CTL, check tak laku, is in the credit side as well. Meaning, whenever you see a check tak laku from the question, we have to take it out. How do we take it out? We credit it out. So when we credit, it's something like minus out from our money, minus out from our bank account. So this would be a minus. It's just that simple. And lastly is our F. Check 128 kepada Aziz telah didebitkan oleh bank tetapi direkod di sebelah debit buku tunai. Now, is there anything wrong with this part? And just to remind you, okay, in last class, I spent some time to explain to you that the difference between Penyata Bank and buku tunai, if you can recall. All right, I told you that usually when we are doing accounting, especially buku tunai, for example, all right, when money comes in, I say we should debit our buku tunai, and when money goes out, we should credit our buku tunai. Yes or no? If yes, give me a yes in the chat box. Money comes in, I'm talking about buku tunai. Money comes in, we debit buku tunai. And when money goes out, you bayar, you pay to anyone, you credit, then it is out, we credit. So debit, credit. Yes or no? Yes. Then you put a yes in the chat box, confidently. All right, Nita, Hashni, okay? Yes, right? That is the basic. And I say that in means debit, out means credit. It's just that simple. But when it comes to bank, okay, I'm not talking about account bank. I'm talking about bank, or in other words, Penyata Bank. Okay, now this Penyata Bank has a different perspective, a different POV, point of view. Okay, so we, the accountant or the business, we see that when money comes in debit, credit out. But from the point of view from the bank is that it becomes opposite. Okay, so if we see it as a debit, it becomes a credit to the bank. And if we see this as a credit, it's actually a debit from the bank. That's why I say here, if money comes in, we debit in our buku tunai, but it's actually shown as a credit in our bank statement. So it's opposite. So same goes to the credit. So if we credit our buku tunai, when do we credit our buku tunai? Is when the money goes out. Okay? But then it will be shown as a debit in our bank statement because that's how the bank sees it. Are you guys clear? If yes, give me a C. Now, to further elaborate on this thing, why is it opposite? Because in last class, I didn't really dig into this thing. But if you see it carefully and think it deeply, logically, I just give you an example. Okay, so now this is us. I would just say us lah, all right? We, okay, we means kita. Kita means like the business. We as an accountant. Okay, so here is our buku tunai. Okay, this is our own book. And here is the bank book. Bank's account. So let's say No, I'm using CIMB Bank. So let's say this is CIMB Bank. Okay. So one is we, us, Peter. Then this is them, the bank, the CIMB Bank. Okay. So bank has its own account and we has our own account. Okay. When money comes in, let's say James by so let's say terima 4,000 ringgit daripada James. A very simple statement. So when money comes in, because you terima, right? So money comes in we debit buku tunai. Correct. Now this 4,000 in the perspective from the bank would be credit 4,000. Why? Because to the bank, this 4,000 is not their money. Think it carefully. Because this 4,000 is whose money? Our money, but it's not CIMB money. But then when you pay, let's say you buy, let's say 1,000 ringgit. So you have to buy money keluar, money goes out means credit. So I have to credit my buku tunai. But from that point of view, from the bank is actually debit to the CIMB Bank because we pay, so the money is actually going in to the CIMB Bank account. But from here, he will send it to whoever, let's say kepada Bob. So then the Bob account there will show on the credit side, 1,000 ringgit. So you can see that it's like that. Debit, credit, in and out, in and out, in and out. Like that. That's why our buku tunai is always opposite of the bank statement. Because from the bank, from CIMB Bank, they see it as this way. But then from us, we see it as that way. So it's different point of view. That's why debit and credit is different. Are you guys clear? If yes, give me a 1 in the chat box. Okay, but of course, I might confuse you here, but if you just pause for a while and think it deeply on this part, then I'm sure you can see it more clearly. All right, but we still have to move on back to where we stopped just now. All right, so come back to here. We're actually done. Okay, wait, we haven't done for F yet, isn't it? So this, you can see that this check is kepada Aziz. Okay, telah didebitkan oleh bank, tetapi direkod di sebelah debit. And I already told you, the bank is always right. Okay, and when check is given to Aziz, check kepada Aziz meaning we pay, kita bayar. Okay, so pay bayar means in the Penyata Bank, and also there's a buku tunai, correct or not? So in the Penyata Bank, pay. Okay, let's don't talk about Penyata Bank, okay? That might confuse you. So let's see from the buku tunai. So when we pay, when we buy a buku tunai, we are supposed to credit. So if buku tunai credit means Penyata Bank will be opposite, becomes debit. And you can see from here that telah didebit oleh bank, meaning this is correct. But in the buku tunai, we debit our buku tunai as well. So this buku tunai part is wrong. We are supposed to credit it. But we read debit in our buku tunai. Are you guys following? If yes, give me an F in the chat box. All right. So now we have to adjust it. Okay, we have to do correction, pembetulan. So how do we correct it? So now you think, okay, I'll draw it up for you. So let's say this buku tunai, we go and debit 128. But then we are supposed to credit it. So now if we credit 128, hold on. If we credit 128 for one time only, then it becomes 0. Because we just now, before, we already debit 128 as written from the question. You can see from here. So we already debit 128, but now let's say you want to credit 128 to the buku tunai. It becomes net off, 0. But truly, kita telah bayar, kita telah memberikan cek RM128 kepada Aziz. So in that case, we have to credit 128 again. So you can see that after you net off the first line, then you write another 128, it becomes 128 net. So in total, we are supposed to pay how much? Or write how much? 128 times 2, it becomes 256. Meaning in reality, we are supposed to credit 256. So credit in this context is minus. Are you guys clear or not? If yes, give me a yes in the chat box. Huh? So whenever you see something like the debit, so they record on the wrong side, and then you want to bring it back, reverse back, then you have to times 2. Okay, the figure, but you have to be clear. Should I debit or credit? After that, the amount, you times 2. Then there's the answer, 256. All right. So with that being said, after knowing what is the minus, what is the plus, very simple. Okay, let me show you magic. So question 2, let's do question 2. As this is a kaidah 1, kaidah 1 means we have to have buku tunai dikemas kini and also penyata penyesuaian bank. All right. So question 2. So yeah, let's do a buku tunai. Buku tunai dikemas ini. Okay, and draw the line. Ringgit Malaysia. This is 2009. So you can see always for your buku tunai, start off with your baki BB first, your baki awal or the baki akhir from the previous buku tunai. So here is 3451 because this is a positive figure. If it is a positive figure, then it's on the debit side. All right. So this is on the bagi bulan October. So October, there is about 31 days. So 1st October. So baki BB. Okay, now see magic now. All right, because when you're watching magic, you have to be very careful and pay attention. If you just miss one part, then you would not understand the magic. All right, so now A. So you can see that this is a minus insurance. So minus means on the credit side. Okay, for this part, we take it as that way. Okay, minus means credit. So here, straight away, credit it. And then, as I said just now, whenever we see a premium, take it as an insurance. So, right, insurance, how much? 747. That's it. Bam, done for A. B, belum dikemukakan. So where is this supposed to be at? Belum dikemukakan should be in your Penyata Penyesuaian bank. Can you see it? So we skip it for later. All right, now we go to C. Now C, you can see the dividend and the charge bank. So dividend on the positive. So here, dividend diterima. So debit, because it is a positive, 5 to 8. And then charge bank on the credit. So charge bank on the credit side, 61. Done. Done for C. Now we don't go to donkey. Donkey is a bird. So you can see that I purposely circle the keyword. Belum dikemukakan, and then the next one is belum dikreditkan. So when I circle it, I know that this is a belum dikreditkan. Belum dikreditkan means you are supposed to put it under the Penyata Penyesuaian bank. So later, so we skip donkey first, we go to E. So E, what is E? Check tak laku, and I put a negative sign, meaning I'm supposed to credit it. And then this is for Dean. And then I just write a check tak laku. How much is that? 832. Done for E. Last one, the F, is the kesilapan, isn't it? And then I say it is a minus. We should credit it, right? So minus, put on the credit side for Aziz. And then this is kesilapan. So I just write here, bracket it, kesilapan. And then how much is that? 128 times 2, you get 256. So you just put 256. 8. Boom. That's it. Then skip one line. Then you have the jumlah, total amount, one and double line. You add them up. So you see which side is bigger, just like how you usually do for your ledger. All right. So here, I think the debit side is larger. So you bring it here, meaning there is a Baki HB. Minus everything here. So remaining with 2083. And this 2083 will be your Baki HB. So when there is a Baki HB, Baki BB. 2083. And after October 31st, the next day will be 1st of September. So September 1. The 31st should be after the October, after the bulan. That's it. So this is your new Baki. And from this new Baki, you bring it down to your Penyata Penyesuaian bank. And remember, whenever you're doing your Penyata Penyesuaian bank, you must have the name of the perniagaan first. What is your business name? So here, this is did I write anything about this? Did you just say Emmeline? So you can just say perniagaan Emmeline. Then the tajuk usually is given, so you can just copy from here. Penyata Penyesuaian pada tarikh yang sama. So tarikh yang sama means this one lah, 31st October 2019. Why is it 19? So it's 2009 lah. Okay, just put a circle here. So just put Penyata Penyesuaian bank pada 31st October 2009. Okay. Yes. Thanks, Danish and Jiaming. All right. After October is November 1st. So sorry. Yeah. So it shows that you guys are paying attention. But yeah, sorry about that. So in my mind, I was thinking this is like August. Okay, but it's actually October, then November. All right. Then Ringgit Malaysia. Then, as usual, the format start off with the buku tunai first, the Baki. So you can see this is on the debit side, means, debit lah, right? So you just straight away write Baki debit, D, buku tunai, and then just bracket, this is a buku tunai yang dikemas kini. How much? So you just bring out this value, 2083. Then, do you still remember the format? You have to add the check belum dikemukakan. So what is the check yang belum dikemukakan? So you go back to the question and you can see that there are two things for the belum dikemukakan. Number one being the saver, second being the check kepada Ahmad. So you can just write, you skip a few lines. As I told you, whenever you're doing for the check belum dikemukakan, make sure you leave a space of a thumb. Okay, the thumb rule. So you have that space, then only you write for saver. So that is 1251, and then do the same thing, leave a space of a thumb, and this is to Ahmad. So you just write Ahmad, and the figure is 385. Okay, so that's it. Then the next thing, we add them up first. So you add this one plus this one. Okay, you get 3,719. Then you minus deposit belum dikreditkan. So what is the deposit belum dikreditkan from this question? So you go back, left with which one? Left with E. Is it E? No, donkey, right? So donkey here, you see that I already circled the belum dikreditkan, meaning this is the figure. 3958 daripada syarikat Lili. So you just write same thing, leave a space of a thumb and write syarikat Lili. How much? 3. And because this is minus, and since there's just one item, okay, so you can just straight away put it in this column. Okay, so minus 3958. Boom. So you can straight away minus. So you get 239 negative. You see it? Line double line. So the last thing, what do we call it? Have a term for it, the baki. Now, what most students will do is that whenever they see a minus here, they should write baki credit di Penyata bank. But is it really so? So as I told you, whenever you see a minus credit, you think that is a credit, but for Penyata bank, it's a different thing. It's actually a debit. All right, whenever you see a minus in Penyata bank, it's a debit. So that's why you can see that from this question, way in the beginning, they already tell you Penyata bank is debit and it's 239. So you can see that the figure is the same. So that tells you you get it right. So this is the answer. Did everyone get it? If yes, give me a Y, E, S, yes. So you can see very straightforward and simple. That's why I said I love this kind of question way better than this one. Well, I like this one as well because different structure of a question brings you a different kind of joy. Because this one you can do a lot of inspecting C figure, comparing figure, and then when it's the same, then you can just slash it off, isn't it? And then the rest, either there's a kesilapan, make sure you have the asterisk, and other than that, you just circle the number, then you do so. All right. But for this one, give you a different kind of feeling is that you just have to understand what you're supposed to do with that pelarasan, with that adjustment. All right. So once you know we should debit or credit, then you can come up with the sign, minus or plus. All right. So once you know minus or plus, then you can do the question like how we showed already. So if it's a plus, you just put on the debit side. If it's a minus, you do put it on the credit side. But with those maklumat tambahan that have the keywords such as belum dikemukakan and belum dikeluarkan, you take it out and put it into the Penyata Penyesuaian. It's just that simple. Do you agree it's simple? If yes, give me an S in the chat box. S for simple. See, it's very simple. Very good. Okay, so let's move on. All right. So since it's so simple, we can quickly move on to question 3. Now, this question 3, we actually done it in last class, but we were using the so-called Kaedah 1 to do this question, for question 3. But for this question 3, supposedly we are to use the so-called Kaedah 2. Now, what is the difference between Kaedah 2 and Kaedah 1? Now, I'm going to show you now. All right. So if you look at my note carefully, you can actually tell the difference. But of course, by explaining it to you, you can fully and clearly, completely see the difference. Okay. So this is what we've been learning, the Kaedah 1. We always have the buku tunai dikemas kini and also the Penyata Penyesuaian bank. Now, look at Kaedah 2A. The only difference for Kaedah 2A is we don't have the the buku tunai in Kaedah 2A. That's it. You can see that from the Penyata Penyesuaian bank is exactly the same. Okay, you saw from the baki buku tunai dikemas kini, same thing. But here, because we're not doing dikemas kini, therefore there is no dikemas kini here. All right, this is another difference, right? Other than that, you tambah cek belum dikemukakan, same thing, belum dikemukakan. Tolak deposit belum dikeluarkan, same thing as well. Lastly, baki di Penyata bank, baki di Penyata bank. So that is your Kaedah 2A. Then you'll be wondering, what about Kaedah 2B? No worries, the Kaedah 2B is just to flip it. How to flip it? So you can see that we start off from buku tunai, but for 2B, we start from Penyata bank and ends with buku tunai. We usually say tambah cek belum dikemukakan, tolak deposit. But here, change also. Now becomes tambah deposit belum dikeluarkan, tolak cek belum dikemukakan. But you don't have to confuse yourself right now. Okay, we go step by step. Okay, so now let's see how do we do for this Kaedah 2A first. Okay, once you understand 2A, and 2B will be very simple. You just terbalik, the whole thing terbalik saja. All right. Okay, now 2A. And let's do this question together by using Kaedah 2A. All right, so you can see that. How do we know we are supposed to use 2A or Kaedah 2 or Kaedah 1? So you can see that in this question, the asas Anda dikehendaki menyediakan Penyata Penyesuaian bank tanpa mengemas kini buku tunai. So that tells you we don't need a buku tunai. If you don't need a buku tunai dikemas kini, means that we cannot do Kaedah 1. Because Kaedah 1 is, they always ask us to kemas kini buku tunai. Then only do Penyata Penyesuaian bank. But for this one, they say, tak perlu, you terus buat Penyata Penyesuaian bank. Oh, that will be a Kaedah 2. Can you see the difference? If yes, you give me a K2 now for Kaedah 2 in the chat box. Right? So that is a difference. Okay? So now let's see how to do that. But whenever we see this kind of question, I mean, it's the same question, right? Okay, so I'm just quickly repeat it, but we use a different format to do this question. Okay, so come back to question 3. Now, so first thing first, just recap since we've done it before. Okay, so first thing first, we want to see what is the check that is out of the normal sequence. So how do we know? So by looking at this buku tunai, you can see it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But when you look at this thing, what number can you see? 80. Meaning this is actually from last month. So this one you should take it out. Okay, is there anyone? This one also 799. You haven't started yet because we start from 801 until 808. You see it? So first step first, take out the outliers, the so-called outlier. All right. Then the second step, you match the figure. Debit in the Penyesuaian bank with the credit in the buku tunai. It's always opposite. All right. So you can see that this 1180 568 658, no, 3600. Okay, same. So you can take it out. 400, same. Cut it off. 30, 840. Okay, 840. I find it here. 908. Yes. You can see them in buku tunai as well. Is it? Okay. Then now we change side. Credit in the Penyata bank with the debit on your buku tunai. So 1620, 1620. 870, 870. 1320, 1370, 300, no. 1534, yes. So that is your step number 2. Step number 3, you look for the kesilapan. Okay, so go to the maklumat tambahan. A, cek yang diterima pada 13 June 2017 dipulangkan. So whenever we see dipulangkan, we know that this is a check tak laku, CTL, on 13 June 2017. So 13 June 2017, this one, 1370 is an asterisk. So you just put this symbol here. We know that this is a kesilapan. Okay, and then the B, 439802 dikemaskan tersilap catat dalam buku tunai. So they are telling us that this check is kesilapan. So, but they just tell us the kesilapan. They never tell us what is the exact figure, what is the correct figure. How do we know where to find the correct figure? Go to your Penyata bank. All right, because I said the Penyata bank, the bank statement is always correct. You can never argue with the bank. When the bank say, this is the figure, that is the figure. Even though you save a lot of money to the bank account, let's say you save 10,000 into the bank account, and the bank said, no, you didn't save 10,000 in my bank account, you only save 9,999. That is on your book, your check, or your bank book, or on your screen, your computer screen for the bank account. Then you cannot do anything because the bank always thinks that they're right, and we have to follow because our money is there, right? So that is the system. Okay, so that's it. So 568 is the correct one, but since this is linked, so we just put together this one and this one, they are linked. All right. So after identifying the kesilapan, the rest we just circle it. So, but this is a recancel, this is a straight line. So this is not identified, not identified. All right. Then is the 1120, 3916, 960, 3590. That's it. So you can see that other than the cutoff one and the symbol, the kesilapan, the rest you just draw one circle. Then, bam, let's do the question. So now, remember, this is Kaidah 2. The question specifically tells us that tanpa mengemas kini buku tunai. So you just straight away do your Penyesuaian bank. And how are we going to do that if we don't have a kemas kini buku tunai? Penyata. Before that, name is Perniagaan Iskandaria. Perniagaan Iskandaria. Dan the tajuk Penyata Penyesuaian Bank pada bila? 30 Jun 2017. Draw one line. Ringgit Malaysia, Ringgit Malaysia. Okay. So start, first thing, now we're doing Kaidah 2A. So start from your baki apa-apa dalam buku tunai. So we take this figure 1744. So this is in the debit side. So baki debit di buku tunai. Now you cannot bracket and write di kemas kini like what we did just now, because this is belum kemas kini. We just straight away take this figure from the buku tunai. Okay, and this buku tunai belum dikemas kini lagi. Alright, so just write di buku tunai 1744. Then the first thing first, we have to add the check belum dikemukakan. Then now I'll just keep about 3, 4, 5, 6 lines. Okay, then you minus your deposit belum dikreditkan. So like what we did lah, all this while. Okay, now first thing, listen pay attention we go to the buku tunai, all right, and then look for the circle one first. Okay, because these are the one that are belum dikreditkan and belum dikemukakan. Okay, and we know that they are always opposite, and therefore this is actually yang on the credit side of your bank. So this is actually the belum. Here is always the belum dikreditkan. Dikreditkan. And this side is the belum dikemukakan. Because just remember I said the kemukan is actually same thing as belum didebitkan. Okay, but we prefer the word belum dikemukakan as following the textbook. Okay, so here is the belum dikemukakan. So therefore, you skip a space of a thumb and then you write the circle one. So such as Khairul. So Khairul with a check number of 439805. Can you see it from here? This one, let me highlight for you. So these two amount we have to throw in, because this is a circle one. Can you see it? And then is the Jega Tesan 439806. So how much? Just follow the figure 960 and 3590. So done. And cut it off. And the next thing will be this one on the debit side. So what is the circle one? Duvada and Syarikat Rudi. And this is actually the belum dikreditkan. So you see the opposite, I told you already, they are always opposite. So belum dikreditkan. So here, same thing. Leave a space of a thumb. Right, Nuwarda. Wardah and Syarikat Rudy. So here will be 1120 and 3916. So done. Just that simple. Okay, now after this, yeah, you go back to this part. So here there are still a circle one, isn't it? All right. So you look at the debit side here, the buku check, 30 ringgit. All right. So where should we put this? Because usually we just put into our buku tunai. All right. But now, where do we put it in? Now you have to ask yourself this question. Okay. So now, if you know, you think you have to use your logic. Okay. So we know that this buku check here is actually minus and here is actually plus. Put the sign there first. Okay. If you have your paper, just put the sign over there. Debit is actually minus and credit is actually plus. From the point of view, from the bank. All right. So if minus buku check, so you have to follow. So minus, put under here. And the buku check you put here. So now you can see that the buku check should be at the same line with your D, the deposit. The D and the B should be the same. Because this buku check is not a deposit belum dikreditkan. The reason I put under here is because the buku check we have to minus it. We have to minus from our buku tunai. That's why I put under minus. That's why in the beginning, I said you should always leave a space of a thumb for the items under the deposit belum dikreditkan. Same goes to your check belum dikembalikan. And when it comes to other than this, put at the same line as your D. Okay, so buku check, how much? 30. So here is a plus, so you put under this part. So same thing, same line as your C, because we're using the plus sign here. So for example, dividend, syarikat murni, you don't have to write so long, you just write dividend diterima. And you know that a dividend diterima is actually money comes in, you just add lah. All right, you add into your buku tunai. So it's 1320 and the pindahan credit kedai cahaya. So you just write kedai cahaya. $300. So you can see that the whole thing is very neat. You have to be as neat as this. So you can see the difference. You can tell that, oh, Khairul and Jaya Tyson is under check belum dikemukakan. All right. And this thing is under deposit belum dikemukakan. But buku check is not under deposit, but just we're putting here because we want to minus. We are borrowing this minus sign. You see that? Okay, so which one? What is left that has not been recorded? The one with kesilapan sign. You see? So one is check tak laku. For this one, Aizam is check tak laku 1370. So now you think your head, when there's a check tak laku, we always credit our buku tunai. Now when you credit a buku tunai, you put under the credit, the minus sign. You have the minus sign from buku tunai. Therefore, you put it here. Same thing with same line with your B and your D. So here you write Aizam check tak laku. Put here 1370. And then lastly is this nombor, that is tersilap catatan buku tunai 658, and we want to make it to 568 because I told you that the bank is always right, meaning this figure 568 is the correct one. But this is the wrong one. You know, you have to ask yourself, how can I make this 658 to become 568? You get what I mean? All right, so first thing first, you just minus. 658 minus 568, and we get 658 minus 568, you get 90. And now the question is, should I add 90 or minus 90? And if you remember what I told you and teach you in last class is, when this is up there and you want to make it to 560, meaning you have to debit the 90. You have to put it on the opposite side. Okay, you cannot put on the same side, because if you put 90 here, this side, this 658 will be adding the 90 and becomes even higher. The only way to reduce this figure is to park the figure on the other side of the ledger. All right, so 658, how do we minus 658? You put it on the other side, meaning here you will debit it. So if you debit 90, in here, debit will be on the plus sign, 90. And that is under promosi. And we know that this is a kesilapan. So you just bracket and write kesilapan. And put 90 here. So from here, you become 568. All right. So that's it. Even this is done. So you just double check, is there any figure that we have circled or just left out, didn't do anything? Okay, just do a quick run through, and then after that, we come back here, you add everything up. Okay, so add this thing up and put here. Yeah, 6,260 total. Then you have to use your baki, debit, di buku tunai, add up all the figure here that you add up just now, 8,004. Okay, 1744 plus 6260, you get 5,004. Now after that, you add up all the minus and put here. So you add this up, see what you get. You get 6,436. Wow, and don't forget, we have to minus it. This is a minus sign, so you bracket it. All right. So 8,004 minus the 6,436, you get 1,568. And this 1,568 is a positive figure. So a positive figure in your Penyata bank is actually a baki credit di Penyata bank. Boom. And this figure, if you check back to the baki given in your Penyata bank, 1,568 is exactly the same. That's it. Do you guys understand? If yes, please give me a U in the chat box. So, of course, first time doing it, a bit confusing, all right? But it's actually the same thing. Same. Okay, it's the same thing as what we've done from this part. It's just that this one is more, I would say, more systematic, because you can separate and do in a buku tunai and a Penyesuaian bank. But for this character, it's like, because we don't need to do a buku tunai dikemas gini, you just combine everything and put it inside your Penyesuaian bank. So this is the end product. This is how it looks like if you do it like that. Okay, and make sure you guys write it down on your buku nota. Okay, so that you can refer it back whenever you're doing your revision. Okay, is everyone done? If yes, please give me a D in the chat box if you are done. I just put it down here for you guys. This is actually, we're using a Kaida 2A. So you have to be, but it's actually the same thing. All right. So the check belum dikemukakan and the deposit belum dikemukakan. These part is the same. The only difference is that you have to be careful with this one lah. All right, but very simple. As I said, you know that this debit and credit. So first thing first, just write the sign down there, because you know that credit is actually a positive, debit in your Penyata bank is actually a minus. So from there, you look at the sign. So whenever you have a circle figure, just throw it in. If positive, throw into a positive sign. Negative, throw into the negative sign. Buku check dalam buku. All right. Okay. So let's move on. Let's do a last question on question 4. Because I don't think if you're doing 5, probably finish around 10 or a bit later. But that would be something that is against my words for you, right? I said I will end it as early as possible. So means that we should end it before 10, isn't it? So I'll try to finish this question 4 before 10. Okay, so you can see that this is also a question Kaidah 2A. All right. Yep. And they want you to do a Penyesuaian bank. You can see the word tanpa mengemas kini buku tunai. So you just use the same way. And then you can see that here you are given a baki debit for buku tunai. Let me read for you. Buku tunai kedai kek My Mom's Bakery menunjukkan baki debit 234 ringgit pada 31st March 2019. Baki ini berbeza dengan baki yang ditunjukkan dalam Penyata bank yang diterima setelah meneliti buku tunai dan Penyata bank tersebut didapati perbezaan ini disebabkan oleh. So these are the reasons, and we have to do a necessary action on it, adjustment. Okay, so for this question, they didn't give us the answer. Usually, they will give us the buku tunai punya baki and also the Penyata bank baki. For this question, they just give us the buku tunai baki, 2, 3, 4. And from here, okay, now, when you look at this thing, it's exactly the same concept as we have done in question 2. If you can remember the question 2, how we did question 2, you apply the same way in this question 4. It's just a plus and minus. Okay, let me show it to you. Okay, so you look at this number 1, cek berjumlah 298 telah dikeluarkan tetapi belum dikemukakan. So straight away you know how, isn't it? So this is a plus. Because cek belum dikemukakan is under the plus sign. Okay, now you move on to 2. Kedai kek My Mom's Bakery membayar sekeping cek bernilai 756 tetapi direkodkan dalam buku tunai sebagai 765. So this is a kesilapan. Okay, a kesilapan. All right. And which one is the correct figure? Is this one. Right. 756. Tetapi direkodkan dalam buku tunai sebagai 765. So this is the wrong one. So always you look at the front part when they say this is a figure, but so whenever the but is the wrong part, all right? After the figure after the tetapi is always the wrong figure. So how do we adjust it? So you just use 7. First thing, you just find out the difference, 765 minus 756. And what do you get? 765 minus 756, you get 9. So the difference is 9. So now you have to think, how can I make this figure? Should I add 9 or minus 9 to get 756? So very obvious, you are supposed to minus 9. Correct or not? But then to think more like an accountant, we should think of debit and credit. All right, this is how we are supposed to do, because let's say you're doing a buku tunai dikemas kini, then you have to know, should I debit or credit, isn't it? So 765 is a figure. And now you want to reduce your 765, you want to become 756, so you have to minus the figure, you have to minus this figure. So if whenever minus, we have to put it on the opposite side. All right. And we have to know that this is bayar. So bayar, if you draw our buku tunai, whenever we bayar, we credit our buku tunai 765. And now, if you want to minus this figure, where should this 9 ringgit be? It should be on the opposite side, meaning on the debit side. Can you see it or not? All right. So if you are to debit this 9, meaning we are supposed to add 9 ringgit, not minus. You see how accounting is tricking. Okay, a lot of students fall into this trap because they think, oh, 765, you just have to minus 9. There's a difference between maths and accounting. Maths is straightforward, plus with plus, minus is minus. But accounting is slightly different because you have to see if it is on the debit side or on the credit side. So from there, you know, because on the credit side, you can go up or down. You can plus and minus. On the debit side, you still can go up or down. Can you see it? But here, how do we minus? I already told you in accounting, if you want to minus, you have to put it on the opposite side. So first thing you have to identify this number is in debit or credit. If it's on the credit side, then you put on the opposite side, it becomes a debit. So now I have to debit 9 ringgit. Debit in this case is plus 9. Can you get it or not? If yes, please give me a yes in the chat box. So I don't encourage students to just to think about plus and minus. You have to think like an accountant. You have to think of debit and credit. All right, that's the way. All right, let's move on to 3. Beberapa keping cek berjumlah 550 yang diterima daripada pelanggan telah dicatat dalam buku tunai tetapi belum lagi dikreditkan, deposit belum dikreditkan, so minus. Okay, straightforward. 4. Sekeping cek telah diterima daripada pelanggan untuk menyelesaikan hutang yang berjumlah 380 dan memberikan 10% diskaun tunai. Cek ini tidak dilayan oleh bank. Means tidak dilayan, another word, CTL, cek tak laku. Okay, now, it's not the whole 380 yang cek tak laku. You have to understand this thing. All right, first you have to find out what is the amount that we receive. Okay, you don't receive 380. What? Because you can see that kita telah memberikan 10% diskaun di tunai, diskaun tunai. All right, so very simple, this 380 times 10% to find out the discount. So it's actually 380 times 10% is actually 38 ringgit. So you give them discount 38. Maksudnya, how much do they pay? They just pay us 380 minus 38 equals to 342. So this 342 is the figure that we receive. And this is the amount that received, the check that we get, 342. But once we put into the machine reject it. That's why we call a check ini tidak dilayan oleh bank. In other words, check ini tak laku. So how much is that? 342. So whenever we have a check tak laku, we credit our buku tunai, isn't it? So if credit, in this case, credit is going with a sign of minus. So write that down, 342. So this is the figure that we are supposed to minus later. And lastly, yang belum, so there's a buku check, always we minus, we credit our buku tunai. Commission diterima, we receive commission, we debit our bank, so we plus faedah simpanan tetap. This is like you receive interest from the bank. Okay, you save money in the bank and then the bank gives us interest. So that is actually what we receive. So you debit your bank means you add. That's a plus sign. So with all these signs given, can we do our Penyata Penyesuaian bank now? The answer is yes. So you go to 4. Okay, have the name. So this is a kedai cake, my mom's bakery. So we are supposed to do a Penyata, Penyesuaian bank pada 31st March 2019. So first thing first, you always start off with your baki. Now, baki di dalam buku tunai, but you have to see, is it debit or credit? So here is already given, buku tunai, baki debit. So baki debit di buku tunai. You cannot write bracket di kemas kini because we didn't do any buku tunai di kemas kini. You have to take that in mind. All right. So 2, 3, 4. After that, as usual, you have to add check belum dikemukakan. Then you just skip about 6 lines, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 or 7 lah. Okay, between 6 or 7. Deposit belum dikreditkan. So let's settle for the belum dikemukakan dan belum dikreditkan. How do we settle it? You just look for the circle one. All right. So you can see that 1 and 4. 1 and 3, isn't it? So 1 is the 298 belum dikemukakan. So just put here 298. So just put. Okay. So because you can see that for this check they didn't write anything and they just give you 298. Right, so I just put 298 over here. Because usually they will give us like Sepper, Azmin, Siti, okay, the name of the person. But in this question, they didn't write anything, and definitely you cannot write its own butiran. So you just put a check belum dikemukakan 298. That's it. Okay, very straightforward. And then same goes to your check belum dikreditkan. So they just say beberapa keping check berjumlah 550. They didn't mention what is their name or whatever. So I just put here deposit belum dikreditkan 550. All right, done. So the rest, you just follow the sign. You see? So like let's say start from 2, second one. So we already know that we should add 9. This is kesilapan, right? So you add, you go to the add sign, kesilapan. 9. Done. Number 4, 3, the third one we done already, right? For the deposit belum dikreditkan. Then go to 4. 4 is to minus 342 as we calculated just now because there's a 10% discount discount 29. So we take it off, left with 342. So this is a minus sign. We put it below deposit belum dikreditkan. So make sure it's the same line as your D. This is a check tak laku. So just write check tak laku. $342. How do we get this figure? If you want to show it out, I'll just show it out for you. You just 380 minus 38, 10% of it. Okay. Then last part, buku check, we are supposed to do minus because we credit our buku tunai. So here you just write buku check 50. Done. Commission diterima plus because you debit your buku tunai. So commission diterima 250. Lastly is a faedah simpanan tetap, is a plus sign as well because you debit your buku tunai. So here faedah atas faedah simpanan tetap. Sharing that. Boom, that's it. Just that simple. Add up everything. And then minus this whole thing. So you add them up first. Those minus 1, 550, 342, 50, and then make sure you put it in bracket sign because it's a minus. There you go, 159. This 159, you see, is a positive figure, therefore is a baki kredit di Penyata Bank. Boom. It's just that simple. So there you go for your question 4, Kaedah 2A. Is everyone done? If yes, give me a D-O-N-E. Hold on, let me see what homework should I give it to you. Then I'll dismiss the class. All right, so just give me a second. And then for this last question 5 will be based on Kaedah 2B, okay? Because this is actually Kaedah 2A, what we have done just now. Okay, so we will do it in next class, and then we straight away enter into Belanja 129 in next class as well. Okay, so we try to finish everything by next class, and then the following class we will start chapter 4, which is what's the partnership. Okay, perkongsian. Yes. So hold on for a while. Give me some time to check on the question. Okay, so I should give you 9, 11, and 12. Yes. Okay, so note this down, your homework for today. So you have to go to the page 63, do question 6, page 75, do question 9, 11, 12, and lastly, page 78, do question 13. Yeah. So I try to have mercy on you guys already. I know it's a holiday, you want to relax, but you cannot relax too much. All right. So give you some homework. 4 questions. The first question is on the record link up, a bit long, but the following questions on the page 75 and page 78 will be easier and more straightforward, like what we've done today. Okay, that's it. Go and enjoy your holiday, and I will see you in next class. Good night, everyone.